1976 was the golden age of rock, when guitars were loud, hair was long, and music was the best. Let's go ahead and get started. Crank it up with Dream On by Aerosmith. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wasn't this released earlier? You're right. It first came out in 73, but it didn't become a hit until it was re-released in 76. Sometimes it takes the world a little while to catch up to greatness. Aerosmith, the bad boys from Boston, were just getting started in 76. Steven Tyler's banshee wail and Joe Perry's guitar wizardry were a match made in rock and roll heaven. These guys lived the sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle to the fullest. None of this green smoothie and yoga BS you see with today's so-called rock stars. Here's a little known fact about Dream On. Steven Tyler actually wrote this song 6 years before Aerosmith even formed, when he was just a teenager. Talk about starting strong. Most teenagers today can barely write a coherent tweet, let alone a rock classic. Next up, Let's Fly High with the Eagles and Hotel California. Released in December 76,
Welcome to the Hotel California.
This track isn't just a song, it's a freaking experience. Now, I know some of you might be rolling your eyes thinking, not this overplayed tune again. But hear me out, fellas. This song's like that old pair of jeans you can't throw out. It just gets better with age. The Eagles were riding high on a wave of success when this song was released. And let's be honest, probably a few other substances too. But hey, that's rock and roll for you. Don Henley, Glenn Frey, and the boys crafted a masterpiece that still got people arguing about its meaning decades later. Is it about the music industry? Satanism? Who knows, but it sure as hell beats trying to decipher whatever mumble rap crap's trending on TikTok these days. Here's a fun fact for you. The iconic guitar duet at the end of the song between Don Felder and Joe Walsh took them a whopping 3 days to record. Nowadays, they just auto-tune it and call it a day. Now, this is a great song we don't hear much. More Than a Feeling by Boston. After that mellow Eagles tune, let's get back to some good old American rock. Released in September 76, that opening guitar riff is more recognizable than your own reflection after a night of heavy drinking. Boston, led by MIT-educated Tom Scholz, was the new kid on the block in 76. Their debut album took the world by storm. These guys proved you could be smart and still rock hard. Here's a great tidbit. Scholz recorded most of the debut album, including More Than a Feelin', in his basement studio. That's right, one of the best-selling debuts of all time was basically made in a basement. No fancy studios, no million-dollar producers, just pure talent and vision. All right, rockers, time for you to chime in. What's your favorite memory associated with these songs? Share your stories in the comments below. Let's keep these memories alive. Next up, we're doing a catchy tune with Don't Go Breaking My Heart by Elton John and Kiki. Time for a little palate cleanser with this duet from the Rocket Man himself, Sir Elton John, and his talented Kiki D. This one topped the charts in 1976. Elton John was already a bona fide superstar by this time, known for his flamboyant outfits and killer piano skills. Pairing up with Kiki D was a stroke of genius. Their voices blended together like whiskey and cola. This was Elton's first UK #1 single, if you can believe it. Here's some music trivia. This song was originally intended to be a duet between Elton and Dusty Springfield. Dusty had to back out due to illness, leading to Kiki D stepping in. Talk about a lucky break. Okay guys, now we're talking. Let's crank it up again for The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy. This is the kind of song that makes you want to hop on a motorcycle and ride into the sunset, even if you don't own a motorcycle. Released in April 76, this track is pure rock and roll. Thin Lizzy, those Irish rockers led by Phil Lynott, were the real deal. They had the looks, the attitude, and most importantly, the chops to back it all up. In an era when rock was getting a bit full of itself, these guys kept it real, with straightforward, no-nonsense tunes. Here's some rock trivia for you. The song was almost left off the album Jailbreak because the band didn't think it was strong enough. Can you imagine a world without The Boys Are Back in Town? We're switching gears a bit with 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon. Released in December 75,
50 Ways to Leave Your Lover.
but dominating the charts in early '76, this song is like a masterclass in storytelling through music. Paul Simon, fresh off his split from Art Garfunkel, was flexing his solo muscles in the mid-'70s. The man could write lyrics that were both poetic and relatable. This song, with its catchy chorus and witty verses, showcased Simon at the top of his game. Here's a bit of trivia that'll impress your friends at the bar. The iconic drum pattern in the song was played by Steve Gadd, who reportedly came up with it on the spot in just 15 minutes. Some people are just born with rhythm, I guess. All right, party people, it's time for some audience participation. We've covered some diverse tunes. Which one speaks to you most? Do you prefer the gritty rock of Thin Lizzy? Maybe Paul Simon's wordplay is more your speed? Share your pick in the comments and tell us why it resonates with you. Bonus points if you can come up with a 51st way to leave your lover. Let's hear from one of the best boogie songs. Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry. Without a doubt, the funkiest track of '76, this song bridged the gap between rock and funk, proving that these white boys could, in fact, bring the funk. The success of Play That Funky Music catapulted Wild Cherry to stardom. It became their signature song, earning them a Grammy nomination and cementing their place in the Funk Rock Hall of Fame. Not bad for a bunch of guys who were on the verge of calling it quits before this hit. Now here's a fun fact that'll knock your tube socks off. This song was reportedly recorded in just 2 takes. In an era when some bands spent months noodling around in the studio, these guys waltzed in, laid down the funk, and waltzed out with a certified banger. Sliding into the smoother side of '76, we got Lowdown by Boz Scaggs. He was no newcomer to the music scene by '76. He'd been around since the '60s, even playing with the Stephen Miller Band for a while. But Lowdown was his breakthrough as a solo artist. And man, what a breakthrough it was. This song made Scaggs a household name. The track's got a laid-back, sophisticated vibe that perfectly captured the mid-'70s mood. It's the kind of song you'd expect to hear in a high-end cocktail lounge, where the drinks are strong, the lights are low, and everyone's trying to look cooler than they actually are. You know, like most of us in our 20s. Here's a little known fact that'll impress your friends at the next barbecue. Lowdown was co-written by Scaggs and David Paik, who later went on to form Toto. That's right, the same guy who gave us Africa had a hand in this smooth as butter track. Talk about range. Speaking of lighter songs, how about Love Hurts by Nazareth? This power ballad hit the charts in '76 and became the soundtrack to teenage heartbreak everywhere. Nazareth took the Everly Brothers original and cranked it up to 11. Dan McCafferty's raspy vocals could make even the toughest biker shed a tear. This was the era when men weren't afraid to sing about their feelings, as long as they did it while wearing tight leather pants and a wall of Marshall amps behind them. Here's a piece of trivia that might surprise you. Love Hurts was originally written by the same guy who penned Rocky Top. Talk about range from bluegrass to hard rock. This guy knew how to write a hit. This list would not be complete without Show Me the Way by Peter Frampton. This song was everywhere in 1976, thanks in large part to the release of the live album Frampton Comes Alive. Frampton was the golden boy of rock in '76, with his flowing locks and innovative use of the talk box. This device, which allowed him to make his guitar talk, was like the auto-tune of its day, if auto-tune actually required talent to use, that is. Here's a fact that'll make you feel old. The talkbox effect that seemed so futuristic in '76 is now considered a classic rock staple. It's like the lava lamp of music gear. Dated, but in a cool, nostalgic way. And there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour through some of the great songs of 1976. It was a year when music dared to be bold and meant something. Sure, we've got more technology now. Any kid with a laptop can make a beat and auto-tune their voice to high heaven. But where's the soul? Where's the craftsmanship? I'll tell you where. Right here, in the grooves of those vinyl records. This, my friends, is the music that shaped us, that defined an era. If you enjoyed this ride back to '76, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, if you got any suggestions for future episodes, let us know in the comments. Next up, we're taking a deep dive into 1977.